Welcome everybody, welcome to Tuesday's edition of Making Hay with JRA. I am Lee Godbold with the Junk Removal Authority. We got Aaron, video extraordinaire, running the camera back there and getting this whole thing put on. Aaron's had a real busy week creating crazy commercials to get your business known, so you'll have to make sure you give us a call and check that out once it's available. It's going to be available real soon. Commercials that some people are going to laugh at, some people are going to love, some people are going to hate. But the main thing is it's going to get your business attention. It's going to make people remember you, and they're going to in turn hire you. So our commercial division, brand new here to JRA, really making some awesome stuff. Aaron's doing a great job with it. So our topic of a discussion today is something that we're going through a lot right now. Any of our customers, if any of our customers are watching, I think some of them are aware, we are really in the process of upgrading our fleet. We have an aging fleet. We probably should have done some of this last year and didn't. We kind of held off, but we just yesterday I signed the order on another truck. So we got another brand new vehicle coming in. It's supposed to be Friday. I'm hearing that it might be delayed a little bit, so hopefully sometime next week. We've placed orders on others as well to get them in. Yesterday, that's the third. So we got 3 new trucks coming in this year, staggered out over the next several months, trying to really stay on top of and getting some of these other ones repaired. So what I want to talk to everybody about today is what type of vehicle should you get for your junk removal business? Should you buy new? Should you buy used? When is it time to order a new one? When should you replace them? So on and so forth. If you guys aren't too busy today, should have a decent number of people watching this episode. Please chime in, because I know this is something a lot of people are very opinionated about. A lot of people are going to disagree with what I have to say. That's fine. We'll have a good healthy debate. So one of the very first questions is, what type of truck should I get for my business? And there's a couple different options. You've got one of the most traditional that probably I would imagine more companies or more individuals out there are using is obviously a pickup truck and trailer. Obviously, it's easy to get into. The second thing, you can get used box trucks. So some people are really passionate about their box trucks. Some companies even use, I didn't even put this as a category down in my notes, but enclosed trailers. They use a pickup truck and an enclosed trailer. There's some advantages and disadvantages to that. We're going to talk about it. You've got a regular dump truck. Now, what I'm defining as a regular dump truck isn't a great big Kenworth or Peterbilt or something like that. Those are completely inappropriate for this type of work. What I'm referring to is like your Chevrolets, GMCs, Fords, Dodge with those Cummins engines, with a dump body on them. Great platforms, great vehicles. There's one major advantage to those. There are definitely some disadvantages to those. And then the fourth one is kind of what we use, is what Got Junk has made standard, what College Hunks uses, Junk Luggers uses, Stand Up Guys Junk Removal uses. Right on down the list, what all the big professional companies use. There's a reason for it. We're going to talk about that. And that is your junk truck. Typically, it's in a Isuzu or a GMC, what's called a low cab Ford truck. That's actually where the driver and passenger are actually sitting on top of those front wheels. They got the flat sides on the front. They're kind of the standard in the professional junk removal industry. And so, do we got any questions or anything at all so far? Okay, awesome, guys. Well, any questions or comments, please leave on either Facebook or YouTube. Appreciate everybody for watching us on Facebook and YouTube. We've got a lot of YouTube subscribers, or not a lot. We got more YouTube subscribers than Facebook. Please check us out on Facebook. We got more and more great stuff coming out on Facebook as well. So like Junk Removal Authority on Facebook. So, first question before we get into advantages and disadvantages of these 4 different platforms, because this question applies to everything, is should you go new or should you go used? The first 6 trucks we bought with Junk Doctors, which is our junk removal company, the first 6 we bought were used. We bought used because that's all I'd ever owned up until that point. I never once bought a new vehicle, and you could go out and you could get a used vehicle for $25,000, maybe less, maybe a bit more, compared to a brand new one of these Isuzu junk trucks at $60,000, $65,000, somewhere in that range. Sometimes, depending on your truck size in your area, maybe as high as $70,000. So I always went the used route, and for the most part, over about the first year or so, everything worked out great. But inevitably, what happens is you start having issues that pop up, and maybe they're not major all the time, though we have had some major issues. But it's that downtime. That downtime absolutely kills you. I tell everybody, if you have the credit available and at least enough money to put down a little bit of a down payment, or if you got the credit, you don't even need the down payment. So if you've got the credit available to get some decent terms on a loan, and I would say if you're first starting out on a brand new vehicle, decent terms is going to be under 8%, which is pretty high. You know, we go out and these loans we get right now, I think we get 5%, something like that. Sorry guys, we got our dog down here. I don't know if you can hear that, just licking away, so you have to ignore him. So we can't kick him out though. This is basically his room. So you know, under 8%, unless you've got bad credit, that's doable. Now, I would not go out on your very first truck, especially, and go out and get a 14 or 15 or 16% loan, because there's a good opportunity you're going to be going through some slow periods, and you're going to have this, you know, much higher, larger bill that you're going to have to pay. But to be honest with you, maybe, you know, that right there is me being a bit conservative. If you're confident and aggressive what you're going to do, if you have a little bit of money at least saved up, even then that might not be the end of the world, because the difference between an 8% and 16% loan, you know, that it's probably only a few $100s a month difference. Hopefully you can make that up and work. If you can go new, absolutely go new, because you're not going to have that downtime, and it's going to force you to commit yourself to your company, because you got that $1,000 or $1,200 or $800 payment you're having to make every single month, irregardless. You personally signed on it. You're going to be desperate, and you're going to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make your junk removal business successful. So let's talk about advantages for these different platforms. The pickup truck and trailer, which is, again, when most people get into junk removal and they're starting kind of small, they're going to start with the pickup truck and trailer. That's exactly what we did. Matter of fact, while I'm talking, I'll see if I can find a picture of our old pickup truck and trailer, because I guarantee you it's probably not as professional as what a lot of you guys are going with. The main advantages to the pickup truck and trailer is a lot of people already have them. So, you know, why go out and buy something else when you've already got a pickup truck that you can use? Maybe you got to go buy a trailer, but you can buy a cheap trailer that doesn't dump. You can buy for a couple $1,000s, or if you go with a dump trailer, you can get a nice dump trailer for anywhere from 8 to 12. You get an okay one at 8,000, a really good used dump trailer as well, and you're going to save about 60% on a comparable, or about 40% on a comparable vehicle. Your pickup truck is your daily driver, and that's the main thing I hear about when people like using pickup trucks as trailers, is they can drive that truck, they can go to the grocery store in that truck, they can pick their kids up in that truck. They've got a lot more flexibility than if they go with a dump truck, a box truck, or one of these Isuzu junk trucks. So we started out with a 6x12 trailer. Let's see if I've got one in here. Got a picture of this. And it had wooden sides. It was 6x12. It was 3 foot tall. Pulled it with a $4,000 Ford F-150 pickup truck, and we made a bunch of money with that truck. That truck allowed us to get away, because again, I had no credit. That truck allowed us to go to the Isuzu junk trucks. Now, we started out used, and that one truck there, $4,000. That thing it spent $4,000 on it. We probably brought in $150,000 from that first vehicle. So I don't regret starting with the pickup truck. That was the only option I have. If that's the only option that you have, then that's the way you're going to have to go. I actually don't have a picture of our trailer in here, which is surprising. But this was our first. This is truck old number 1, still rolling. That's our first dump truck before we had painted it. We bought that for $11,500. The nice thing about pickup truck and trailers, you can have multiple trailer sizes. So, and I would argue, is this really an advantage? We're going to talk about that in just a bit, but you know, having multiple trailer sizes isn't necessarily an advantage, but some people like that. They like being able to have like an 8-foot trailer for a small job, a 12-foot trailer for a medium job, and a 20-foot trailer for a really, really large job. And I think you still only have one vehicle. That one vehicle is still, those trailers require a vehicle to pull. I'd really, really encourage you guys to think about other things, truck and trailer. Multiple trailer sizes that you think is an advantage, probably it really isn't. You can drop them off and let the customer fill them. Yeah, if you're in the dumpster rental business, this is a great way to go. Starting out with rubber, with tired dumpsters, isn't a bad way to go, because you can use them on a junk removal job and you can use them on a dumpster job. That's what a lot of you guys are telling yourself. I'd rather you focus in on getting more full service junk removal work than having to drop that trailer off, because you're going to charge less for that trailer and you're going to have twice as much transportation costs because you have to go back and pick that thing up. There's a chance of it getting stolen as well while it's at that customer's home. So dumpster rental, you're either in the dumpster rental business or you're in the junk removal business. I don't think they mix very well at the start. Not until you have an established dumpster business or an established junk removal business where you actually have somebody that you've hired to focus in on running either one of them 100%, where your focus can then be turned to the new business. At that point, you're going to be able to grow them both very well. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to half-ass the two. So that advantage of being able to drop those trailers off isn't really a huge advantage. And then a pickup truck, more comfortable than a box or dump truck. This is likely the case. A lot of the times these well, especially the Isuzu junk trucks and your traditional box trucks, the regular dump trucks, your Isuzu, I mean, obviously your Chevys, your Dodge, your Fords, that's basically what you're driving around in your pickup truck. So the comfortability isn't as huge of a deal there. But comparing it to a box truck and a junk truck, a pickup truck is definitely more comfortable. We got any questions or anything yet, guys? Okay. All right. Advantages to box trucks. There's a couple. Box trucks, you've got the advantage where you can store your tools without getting wet. So, and that is nice. It's also more secure. So if you guys, if you've got good tools, you want to keep them in your box truck, the chance of somebody breaking into a box truck and stealing stuff out is less than somebody breaking into one of the toolboxes that's attached on front of the Isuzu junk trucks. However, depending on what tools you have, your hand carts and larger tools, wheelbarrows, that's nice to be able to fit into a box truck for sure. They stay out of the rain. They stay pretty secure. The main advantage to a box truck is if you have a business model where you retain a lot of the items you keep to resell, to donate, to recycle, so on and so forth, because obviously with a junk truck, that stuff's going to get wet. That tarp is not going to keep your items from getting wet. The box trucks also tend to be a lot easier of a ride because they have the dampening in place to keep the ride from being so rough. So that is another advantage if saving a lot of items is really important to you. That's becoming important to us for a monetary reason. We're at the point now we have enough volume where it makes sense for us to bring it back to our location, our transfer station, or not our transfer station yet. We're going to create. We are in the process of setting up a warehouse and new office facility, 10,000 square foot facility where almost all of our loads are going to come back. They're going to be sorted through. Stuff's going to get sold. Stuff's going to get recycled. We're going to reduce our disposal fees tremendously and we'll also get a little bit of income from selling the items as well. It's now become advantageous for that because we have so much volume. When you guys are first starting out and you're going after and you want to go get a box truck, unless you're 100% very passionate about it, then I would suggest you look a different direction because it's twice the time. If you get this pickup truck and trailer, you have to hand unload. This box truck, you're gonna have to hand unload unless you get a dump trailer. So you got twice as much time. You need to be focused on reaching more customers, getting more junk removal jobs, getting stuff done as quickly as possible, rather than saving a lot of these items in order to resell or to recycle. The amount of money you make on recycle right now and the amount of money you make on selling items tends to not, on the majority of jobs, does not make up for the amount of extra time it takes you not only to bring the items back to a warehouse, but also to list them for sale, to wait on a buyer that's going to come and flake on you, to clean them up, to take all the pictures. There's so much time involved in there. You also have the extra fuel cost. You're going to an extra location because chances are that entire load probably wasn't good. If the entire load was good, take it to a donation center, or if you think it's really valuable, take it to a storage facility, so on and so forth, and unload it. But most loads are going to be mixed. You're going to have maybe a quarter of good stuff. You're going to have 3/4 of trash. Maybe a little bit of recycling mixed in, but the recycling is paying almost nothing now unless you're getting copper or car batteries or something on that end. And car batteries you technically aren't supposed to be transporting. So, but if you're passionate about it, saving items for sure, box trucks are the way to go. If you want to do moving jobs, obviously box trucks are a lot better as a moving vehicle than a dump truck or a pickup, even a pickup truck and trailer. Not only because the items stay dry, but they tend to have mounts in there where you can better really tie stuff down. You got the roof up there. You know, it's a bit more secure than a pickup truck and trailer. It's definitely an easier ride. But, you know, again, like I mentioned on the dumpster stuff, guys, you guys either need to decide, are you going to get in the moving business, you're going to get in the dumpster business, you're going to get in the junk removal business. It's one or the other. It cannot be all three. So if the junk removal business is what you want to get into, then I suggest you buy a vehicle for junk removal. If you want to get in the moving business, go for that box truck. So let's talk about the advantages of a regular dump truck. Obviously, it's half the work. And a lot of you guys, you're out there and you're hand unloading, you're like, this isn't a big deal to me. We were the same way. It was like, hey, you know, hand unloading isn't a big deal. You don't know it's a big deal until you've gotten that first dump truck. So I had a picture of our first dump truck up there. Our first intention when we got that truck was actually to run that dump truck and run our trailer all at the same time. So we're going to run 2 crews. What wound up happening is we just quit using the trailer altogether for the most part, and we used that dump truck on all those jobs. Instead of, you know, before we were doing 3 or 4 jobs in a day with that pickup truck and trailer, that dump truck allowed us to do 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs in a day. Heck, today, we've got a couple of our crews that are going to do 11 jobs in a day. They're smaller, but 11 jobs in a day simply would not have been possible on a pickup truck and trailer because you got to handle load. So the first time you hit a button and you dump a load of stuff out, you're never going to want to go back. I promise you, you're never going to want to go back because it's such a luxury and it's so much more efficient. The regular dump truck is likely going to handle better than the pickup truck and trailer, meaning you're going to be able to get into tighter spots. Again, guys, I'm talking Chevy, Dodge, Ford trucks, you know, pickup trucks or dump trucks. I'm not talking your Kenworths and Peterbilts, so on and so forth. So it's going to be easier to handle. The work truck, it is just a work truck, most likely. I mean, this isn't something you're going to want to drive around as your daily driver most of the time. So that is going to motivate you to make sure you keep that thing busy. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there staring at that thing, not moving. You got money in it, and it's just sitting there. You're not able to use it. That motivating factor, I do not want people to discount how important having something like that to really motivate you and to force you to doing what you're supposed to do to kind of grow your business. So that's definitely an advantage. And then one of the major advantages over a regular dump truck than even the Isuzu dump trucks, the box trucks, and your typical pickup trucks and trailers is that the regular dump trucks are available in 4-wheel drive. Now, a pickup truck is available in 4-wheel drive, but you got that trailer you're pulling, and generally you get weight on that trailer, you get on some soft grass or, you know, soft terrain, and even with 4-wheel drive, that truck just kind of starts to sink in, especially the rear. Huge disadvantage. The regular dump trucks with that 4-wheel drive can often pull them out of that situation, whereas a junk truck or a pickup truck and trailer would not be able to. So that is a big advantage of those standard size regular dump trucks. And the nice thing is you got that comfortability that you do on your pickup trucks. So it's still as comfortable. It's the same cab as your standard pickup truck. Might be a rougher ride if you get a 1-ton or 2-ton truck. It's going to be a lot rougher of a ride than a 1/2-ton or 3/4 ton. But it's still, the seats are comfortable. It's still a pretty nice ride. So, my favorite, we're going to the standard of the industry. These Isuzu dump trucks or junk trucks. They could be Mitsubishi. You got the Fuso platform. UD has a platform. GMC, you guys see GMCs. That's just an Isuzu. It's the same exact truck. GMCs and Isuzus are the same exact truck. So, Hino is another one that you're seeing a little bit more and more of. But my familiarity is mainly with the Isuzus. And that's kind of what I'll talk on here. The main advantages to this Isuzu dump truck, is like with the regular dump truck, you're able to dump. Obviously, that's huge. And it handles phenomenally. Until you've driven one of these low cab Ford trucks, you really will not realize how well these things handle. They do U-turns. You couldn't do a U-turn inside this room, but it maybe twice the size of this room. You could almost do a U-turn in without having to back up. They handle better. They have better turning radius than like a Toyota Camry. I swear they do. It's the oddest feeling. If you ever turn that Isuzu truck all the way to the stops on the steering, it feels like you're moving sideways as this thing turns. I mean, you look in the back and your rear wheels are basically pivoting. You know, they're barely rolling forward. They're pivoting. Awesome. turning radius, bar none, second to none. There is no other vehicle out there that's going to have a better turning radius. That's going to allow you to get in a lot tighter spots, especially you guys in cities, major metro areas, and with people that have houses down little alleyways and tight spots. A box truck and a pickup truck and trailer ain't going to cut it. You know, a pickup truck and trailer in Texas, in rural areas of Texas or rural areas of North Carolina, you know, might work out okay. If you guys are in a major city, there's no other, I mean, an Isuzu truck is absolutely the way to go. Even if you're going to get a box truck, go with an Isuzu box truck because they handle so much better. We like the junk trucks, though, because the bodies are smaller. So the bodies are generally smaller than a box truck. So that, again, maneuverability is huge. The insides of these trucks, these specially built junk bodies, are smooth, or they're plywood. So, or they should have been plywood. Now, the plywood could have come off. That's not uncommon. I'm not a huge fan of plywood sides on the inside. They do it for weight reasons and to reduce construction costs. But there is one issue, is over time, moisture can get trapped behind that plywood and can actually cause your bed to rust. This is standard for got junk. College hunks used to do it. I don't believe they are anymore, but they used to actually line the inside with plywood. The exterior is smooth for graphics. One of the main things you always want to think about is your trucks are a rolling billboard. A pickup truck and trailer is not going to have the visibility that a box truck or a Isuzu junk truck does. We get, I'd have to check, but $5,000-$6,000 a month in business from people seeing our vehicles roll down the road. I would actually estimate that it's probably a lot higher than that. One thing you got to remember on advertising is your Google ads, your SEO, your truck advertising. If you got to do billboards, if you do flyers, if you do radio, all that type of advertising really helps each other out. So somebody, here's your radio ad, they see your truck going down the road, they do a Google search for junk removal, there's your company again. Those three things have supported each other to lead to that job. Make sure that you've got signage on your vehicles in order to not miss out on that extra advertising, that extra branding that you got when that thing's rolling down the road. Some of you guys aren't going to want, if you're running a pickup truck and trailer, I got a pickup truck. It is not, I'm guilty of this. It does not have a junk doctor's license plate. Doesn't have a junk doctor's wrap on it. It's too nice a truck. You know, it's the F-150 Lariat edition. It's got the heated seats and the cooled seats. It's got the premium sound system. You know, it's got all the bells and whistles. I didn't get the one that vibrates me. It was $10,000 more. I could have gotten one that gave me a kind of massage going down the road. I didn't think that was worth $10K, so I skipped out on that. But that truck is not advertising for me. The smart thing for me to do would be to go get a wrap on that thing, and then that way I'm driving up and down the road, and I'm really advertising for my company. A dump truck is going to do that. Some of you guys aren't going to want to wrap your pickup truck. These Isuzu dump trucks, or any dump trucks in general, they generally come with electric tarps, super convenient, much faster. And then they got the dual barn doors for opening doors in tighter spaces. So you don't want one single door like some of these dumpsters have, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to get the door all the way open. It's also, those doors are extremely heavy, so if one of those doors ever does come loose when it's being dumped, it's going to knock the hell out of the guy that's behind it. If he's doing, and they shouldn't be ever be in the space where a door could actually fall open, but people do stupid stuff. So if that door ever opens when your passenger's out and that one guy's dumping it, that's going to knock him on the ground. It's going to seriously injure him. So those dual barn doors are great to have. That's what those junk truck bodies come with. Let's talk about disadvantages, and we've covered a few of them. So again, on the pickup truck and trailers, if you're trying to scale out this thing, if you're trying to grow a company and you want to hire people and hire crews, it's cutting down the labor pool. So the amount of people, I saw a statistic here recently, 14% of the population under the age of 40 can drive a stick shift. 14%. I would estimate that's probably even lower on who can back a trailer. I haven't seen that data, but the people that can back a trailer are few and far between. You don't want to have to train a guy on how to back a trailer, because he's going to get in a situation and he's going to screw up. He's going to hit a mailbox. He's going to bump into a building. He's going to get stuck. He's going to tear up somebody's yard. There's far too much can go on when you have a pickup truck and trailer. If you guys are wanting to hire people and grow and scale, grow a large business like we're trying to get you to do, then a pickup truck and trailer is probably not the way to go, because it's hard. It's hard enough to hire people that can drive these Isuzu trucks, which are easy to drive. Put them with a pickup truck and trailer, they're going to be knocking everything down. It's easier to get stuck. Pickup truck and trailers are about the easiest out there to get stuck. So getting stuck at the landfill or getting stuck in a soft area, generally your pickup truck and trailer, even if it has 4-wheel drive, is going to get stuck more often than a regular dump truck or an Isuzu junk truck. Other than the box truck, the box truck's probably going to, a good chance the box truck's going to get stuck too, because you have all that extra weight of that entire box on that frame. And it's twice the labor or close to it. You guys are having to hand unload. So most of these jobs with these dump trucks, again, your unload time goes from 20 minutes or 30 minutes to 3 minutes. So, and maybe you can unload, maybe you guys out there, you macho guys out there, you say I can unload a trailer in 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. It's still, if I'm dumping in 3 minutes and you're unloading in 10 minutes, look at the difference there. That we're still throughout the course of the day. If we do, that could be the difference between getting another job in, another 2 jobs in throughout the day, is the fact that you're having to hand unload. Dump trucks are definitely the way to go, or a dump vehicle especially. So box truck disadvantages. You got to hand unload. That's the biggest one. Same thing as the pickup truck and trailer, unless you have a dump trailer. And then the regular dump truck, handling tighter spaces. So those Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet, GMC, regular dump trucks, they don't have a good turning radius at all. Very, very poor turning radius. So, and a Isuzu junk truck is just going to beat that out a heck of a lot more of those low cab Ford trucks. So what are the disadvantages to these Isuzu junk trucks? They're not extremely good off-road or on grass. They're still okay. If you know the limitations of them, you can get them. They seem to handle mud okay, like at a landfill, muddy landfill environment. These things normally do okay. Wet grass, especially once they're loaded, they sink in. So your guys need to really understand when they're going out, they want to be walking these yards to make sure they're really, really firm. If they're not really, really firm, they need to walk. They need to take the items from where they're getting them. If it's a back shed or whatever, walk them to the truck. This is only a disadvantage when compared to the regular dump truck that might have 4-wheel drive. The problem is, even with a 4-wheel drive vehicle, if you're going to go on somebody's grass, even with a 4-wheel drive vehicle, if it's soft, you're going to tear it up. Maybe you don't create ruts, but you're at least going to compact it down. So a lot of times it's still not a good route to go. Now, if you're doing a job at an old farm or something like that, these people are normally fine with it. But if somebody has a nice piece of land, they have a well manicured lawn, and you're going to drive back on it, it's going to compress that down, and it's probably going to leave a less than satisfied customer. A lot of times, even if the customer tells you, hey, drive on it, it's fine, you still want to maybe walk the items, because you don't want to leave that customer the bad taste in their mouth. They might blame themselves for the issue they're having and for the fact their yard doesn't look all that great, but the problem is they're going to be thinking about your company. You never want a negative thought to be associated with your company. You got any questions or anything here, Aaron?
Yeah, we do.
Awesome.
We got one coming in from Top Coder on YouTube. Do you use companies like Home Advisor, Thumbtack, etc. for leads, or rely primarily on SEO and pay-per-click?
Yeah, we do it all, man. Thumbtack, for some reason or another, we have had zero luck with. There's places in the country I've heard people have had pretty good luck with Thumbtack. Around here, I swear all the leads are bogus. You call them up, the numbers are dead. They never respond. You give estimates. I mean, we get tons of these leads in. And I don't know, maybe we're doing something incorrectly with Thumbtack. We've never had much luck with Thumbtack. Home Advisor, freaking hate Home Advisor, but it brings us good work. So our call center, the key on Home Advisor, again, you need to check out the video we did on Home Advisor. But if you call back within 2 minutes and you know how to sell, you're going to get a lot of Home Advisor jobs. If you do not know how to sell and you are not available to call back within 2 minutes, Home Advisor is pretty rough. I know there's always these other lead generations popping up. I think one, is it Load Up? I think there's one called Load Up. I think that's the right name. I've looked into it.
That sounds familiar.
Load Up, I think, is actually a decent lead generation service. It's not Load Up. What is the name of this thing? Load Up, junk removal. Go Load Up. Okay, so Go Load Up. I think this is actually decent. They, unlike Tackle, which is Tackle is just for amateurs. Unlike Tackle, Load Up actually pays pretty well as far as like their prices are a lot less. So they have something kind of neat. All right, so If you want to, let's go in here. Let's go through load up. If you want to schedule a pickup, we do not use load up. Probably should. So let's go through this. 27511. All right, let's say we have a mattress. The only thing I don't like about this is it's really time consuming. It's a very long booking process. Let's say we have 2 mattresses. We got 1 dresser. Got a treadmill. Let's type in a weight machine, home gym. All right, kind of weird items here, but all right, so look up here. So these items have come in. 2 mattresses, but it doesn't ask me the size. That's kind of weird. A dresser. Doesn't ask me how big the dresser is. Treadmill. Yeah, treadmills are, you can have small and large ones, but they're fairly close together. Home gym. A home gym could be a huge room full of stuff, and it could be a Bowflex machine. And then they come up here, and they got a price at $387. This showing pretty good where they can see it. Mm-hmm. So, mattress, dresser, treadmill, home gym. 2 mattresses. Dresser, treadmill, and a home gym. $387. I don't know. That doesn't sound terribly far off. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly accurate quote.
They're going to take a percentage of this. I'm not an expert on load up, but this doesn't look bad. I just don't know how many consumers are actually using it. Of the lead services out there, I'm sure this one has got some issues, but this might not be a bad platform for you guys to check out. On Home Advisor, again, you just got to get to it quick. So to answer your questions, we do everything. If there's something out there that's going to bring us work, we're going to do it. So too many people talk about they don't want to do Home Advisor or this or that because they make more money getting jobs from Craigslist or Facebook or whatever. The issue with that is they're not 100% busy off of Craigslist or Facebook, or even if they are, they need to be adding another truck and crew, and they need to fill up that other truck and crew with every single method possible for you to get jobs. There's jobs, a customer that hires a company off of Home Advisor, that's a customer you missed out on. If you're not on Home Advisor, you're not getting that job. That customer's going to hire from Home Advisor. They're not going to hire from, maybe not hire anyway, from pay-per-click or SEO. They didn't go to your website. They didn't see your flyer. They didn't hear your radio advertisement. They're on Home Advisor. You got to go where they are in order to really grow your business. What other questions we got, Aaron? We good right there? Okay. If you guys, we do have time today to maybe do one website or pricing, 1 or 2 pricing recommendations. So if you guys would like pricing recommendations, please give some zip codes and truck size. Also, check us out online at JRA.com. Our commercial division, we've already got ads management. We've got that perfected. We're doing almost 40 companies are using us through ads management, Google Ads management throughout the country. SEO, which is we're going to combine as almost a brand management. We got a very new SEO strategy that's going to bring in more organic links because it's extremely high quality content that's getting put out. And then on the commercial division, these commercials are unreal. 40,000 views in 1 week. It's going to get you attention. It's a whole entire campaign, so it's going to enter them into the email funnel. They're going to get emailed a coupon. They're going to consistently get emailed once a month, so they don't forget about you. And this stuff's going to get shared, and it's just an awesome way to grow your business. Facebook is an awesome platform. It's a lot of companies are not on it as far as paid ads, and the ones that are generally don't know what they're doing, and they haven't invested in a high quality ad. You don't want a Facebook ad with just a picture. If you put a Facebook ad out there with just a picture, you're not going to get a great return. You don't want just a video, especially a poor quality video. You want an entire campaign that's done professionally. We can help you out here at JRA. Okay. So let's go into and talking about, I'm not going to talk about buying pickup trucks and trailers. I'm not going to talk about buying box trucks much or standard dump trucks, because all 3 of these, especially even the standard dump truck and the pickup truck and trailer, you guys can buy. There's nothing really specialized about it. The box trucks, I'll mention one thing. If you guys are interested in box trucks, check out Ryder has a site, Ryder Truck Rentals, used vehicles for sale. I can't remember the name of it. There you go, usedtrucks.ryder.com. usedtrucks.ryder.com. And this is a good way if you're going to buy a used, which I don't recommend, but if you're going to buy a used box truck, the nice thing about Ryder vehicles, they might be a little higher on mileage, but they've been fleet maintained for the most part, so you know the maintenance has been kept up. When you buy them from a individual company or from an individual, you don't know if they've really kept up with the maintenance unless they have detailed maintenance records. So you can get on here, you go to used trucks, and I think the category is straight truck. If you go to straight truck, you can kind of look through some of these used vehicles, and they're all throughout the country. You can specify what area you're in because Ryder's nationwide. So if you want to buy a Isuzu or a junk truck, generally they're going to be X1-800 Got Junk trucks. You sometimes see ex-college hunks trucks. Almost never do you see an ex-Junk King truck, and I have no idea why, but you hardly ever see ex-Junk King trucks. I don't know if they tear them up or if they rust away or what it is, but you just don't see very many of them. Number one, on Got Junk trucks, beware of northern states. These trucks, these Isuzu trucks, do have a little bit of a rust issue after about 6 or 7 years if they're not kept clean. So what oftentimes happens, these things get salt picked up off the roads and they don't get washed off. So if you're in a northern state, try daily, especially during the winter months when that salt brine is getting up on the frame, take the time to take a power washer. Not only you should be washing your trucks daily to keep them clean and have a good appearance anyway, but make sure you're actually power washing the undercarriage of that truck, hitting that frame good, hitting fittings good, brake fittings, really, really well. Hit the engine, power wash that engine. Try to avoid the electrical connectors because you don't want to get water up in those. Don't get too close, but wash that engine off. Keep all that stuff free of that brine, and they won't rust. But most trucks from up north are ate up with rust, and you'll look, and the frame might look okay, but if you look really close, you can tell. You'll see little bubbles or kind of rough areas. What's happened is that dealer or that individual has painted that frame, but very seldom do they take it down to bare metal. So what needs to happen is that frame needs to actually be taken down to bare metal and then repainted, and that's it's just not cost effective, so people don't do it. To do a good, you almost have to take the body and the cab off to do a really good job on doing that. So oftentimes they paint over rust. The main thing to look at though, look at the engine. Look, there's going to be hose clamps throughout that engine. If those hose clamps are rusted out, that's a telltale sign this truck is probably got some rust issues. Look at bolts, fasteners. There is on the passenger side. There's an EGR valve that's bolted in. Look at those bolts. Those bolts and that pipe is oftentimes really, really rusted. If you're going to have issues. Now, a little bit of surface rust isn't a huge deal. A lot of those engine parts can have surface rust anyway. I'm talking like it looks like if you grab this thing and you hold it, it would rust through. Obviously, mufflers. You can check out mufflers and exhaust. But the main issue with buying a rusted up vehicle is when it comes time to fix something that goes wrong, you're going to wind up having to fix fix other parts that break that you have to take off to access the part that isn't broken. Or you're going to have bolts that break off, so on and so forth, and your mechanic is going to have to spend a lot more time repairing those bolts and changing them out, drilling them out, so on and so forth. Be careful buying these rust bucket trucks. I bought one of them. I don't want to ever do it again. So look out up north. Ideally, you want to try and find these trucks a good southern inland state because they've got a lot less salt, or California truck, an inland California truck. So look in Florida, Alabama. Those areas, even the Carolinas, South Carolina, Georgia especially, North Carolina, it's okay, it's better than up north, and also you want inland, away from the ocean, and those are going to be your best buys. This is hard to do. You want to try and find them with no more than 100,000 miles. Probably not going to happen unless you've got a company that's gone out of business. Because what happens after about 150,000, so if you can find them 150,000 and under, you're probably okay. Over 150,000, you're getting into that range where you're going to start having issues. So you could have some fuel injectors that mess up. Transmission could all right. Fuel injectors are random. Oftentimes, if a fuel injector goes out, it's because these Isuzu trucks have a bad habit. And I can't remember what year they stopped, but the 06, 04, 05, 06, 07, I think even 08 trucks had an issue where the fuel tank would rust. That's a major problem. So what happens is when that fuel tank rusts, is it releases rust and particles that get through your fuel system, and they can mess up. The first thing they'll mess up is your injectors. So they'll wind up bypassing that fuel filter. One, they might fill the fuel filter up. Then they're going to get to the injectors, and they can mess those injectors up. It can also might kick the truck into what's called safe mode or limp home mode. The computer will detect that there's some restriction, and it'll throw it in limp home mode. So that's one issue you might have as you get more miles on your vehicles. Transmission's normally going to last to about 250,000 miles. The dump motor, that's age of use and how many times it's cycled up and down. Obviously, this isn't directly correlated to mileage, but probably somewhere around 250,000 miles, this dump motor is going to go out. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it's $700-800 to change it out, depending on which one you get. Engine's normally good for up to 300,000 miles as far as the actual, until it needs to be overhauled, and maybe longer, maybe even longer than that. What happens though, and 300,000, they say 310,000 on the older ones, I think it's 340,000 on the newer engines is the overhaul. Some engines will go past that. Some won't even make it to 300. We've got one truck right now we're putting an engine in, and the piston rings had it basically started blowing oil out, and so the truck itself is still running, but it's blowing oil out. You can't have oil getting leaked down in your customers' driveways. So we're going to replace that vehicle. We could have maybe it's just a broken piston ring, but the thing was at 290,000, so it's probably going to go out soon anyway, or need to get redone anyway. So we're going ahead and putting a new engine on it. Sensors. I'm talking about diesel trucks, by the way, right now, guys. These sensors on these diesel trucks, they'll throw you in limp home mode. So you get up in the 250s on mileage, even above 150 or 200s. You're going to start every so often. You're going to have something go on with the sensor. It's going to throw you in limp home mode, which limits you to 15 miles per hour. And then it's a matter of finding a mechanic to really diagnose kind of what's going on with these particular issues. We're lucky because we have somebody that comes to us, and he's worked on our trucks all these years, so he tends to know kind of little issues. For example, we just had an issue on one of them going into limp home mode. Turned out one of the clamps, one of these hose clamps holding on a fuel line had actually let loose. It had stripped itself off, and that fuel line was loose, and it was sucking in air, and basically I think it was creating kind of a vacuum issue. Anyway, the computer didn't like it, threw it in limp home mode. That took time to diagnose that, and that's an issue that could even happen on a new truck, but again, it's normally on a more of a used vehicle that's going to occur on. When you're looking at these used trucks, again, you want to try and you look for that rust, check out those fittings, drive it, check out the brakes. Some of these Isuzu trucks, if you have a really low pedal, a lot of times those rear brakes are not auto adjusting properly. So that's one of the very, very common issues on these trucks as well. So one of the things you want to ask yourself when you're buying these, should you get diesel or gas? Whatever you get, use all the same. The gas engines won't last quite as long, but they're cheaper to fix. And obviously gas is a little bit less expensive. Whatever you use all the same. We like the Isuzu NRR trucks because they're higher GVWR. The problem is the NRR is not available in gas, so we use diesel because of that. But there are definitely advantages to the gas Isuzu trucks. All they are is a Chevy V8 engine. So parts readily available, easy to fix, less expensive on parts than the diesel. And as far as non-junk Isuzus, the Hynos, the Mitsubishis, I think they're okay. I'm just not a huge expert in them. You're going to have the same issues. I mean, just make sure parts are available. Parts are going to be expensive on all three of these trucks if they're diesel, for sure. The Isuzu trucks work great, especially the brand new ones. They're comfortable. I think the Hynos and the Mitsubishis maybe used to be a little bit nicer overall, but I think the build quality is about the same on all three of them now. What kind of questions we got, Aaron? We got anything?
Yeah, we got a few. We're going to start with one on Facebook. Give me just a second. We got one from Ryan on Facebook. How long do you train drivers before they operate that $65,000 Isuzu?
Not long enough. To be honest with you, the issue, I got somebody trying to call me on Skype, guys. Hold on a second here. The issue when you're trying to scale up and grow is you're never in hiring people for this type of work. The problem is the people that do take on this kind of work are generally not very experienced drivers. A lot of them are younger. I don't know if you guys saw that the 1-800 got junk truck. They got flipped over, but you yourself. Generally, all right, here's how we do it. We start them out with a team leader. They ride on the truck for several weeks. And they kind of just see how the truck rides. They see how the drivers, do what they're supposed to hopefully be doing. And then you yourself as the owner, or you can have a GM that takes them on a driving course, shows them how to properly back up. If they got a passenger all times, make sure that passenger gets up and kind of guides them back. You can set, these trucks can be limited on speed. We limit ours to 62 miles an hour. That got junk truck is probably going a lot quicker than that. You can still get a lot of damage at 62, but at least you're not running wide open at 75 miles an hour on these things moving around. I think you just need to ride with them, try and put them in different situations. I'd get them out. If you got cones you can set up, great. They need to learn the proper hand signals. You need to make sure they understand why it's so critical that they take these turns slow. You don't want to turn this thing over. These trucks can definitely get flipped over, as you guys know. There's not a set limit. Some of the guys that work for us will never drive. We just don't think they're capable of it. Their car's all beat up. They can't even drive a Toyota Camry. There's no way they're gonna be able to drive this. Some guys, it always makes me feel a little better when they pull up in a big pickup truck. If they pull up in a big pickup truck and the thing's really nice, it's not all beat up, I'm like, all right, we probably got somebody who can drive one of these trucks. So there isn't a set number. We've thought of putting people through driving school, but a lot of these guys, they know how to operate it, but they just drive it far too fast. And that's one of the things you have to really limit. Have onboard cameras, onboard GPS, and take away driving privileges. It's hard to do when you're really busy, but take away driving privileges, dock their pay. Make sure you pay drivers more than non-drivers. And then if somebody cannot drive right, you dock their pay by several dollars an hour. You reduce that fee down. What we got?
So we got one from Top Coder, and I asked for clarification. I haven't seen any back, but they say, why not franchise so you receive the brand recognition plus receive a reasonable royalty? I'm assuming they mean junk doctors.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if you're talking about why didn't junk doctors franchise rather than go the JRA route, because we want to do something different than everybody else, something that's never really been done before. We could have franchised out junk doctors. We could have taken these Facebook commercials that we're doing that's going to help everybody out, the entire industry out. And to be honest with you, we probably could have bumped up there and been one of the big three, big four. I mean, I 100% believe that we could have sold a ton of franchises using that method. But the commercials at the time, we hadn't really even thought about that route being a way we could stand apart. The main thing is, though, we can help a lot more people. And listen, it's not limited to just junk removal. We're hiring like crazy around here at JRA, and we're improving our systems around junk removal. Eventually, we're going to be helping out other service industries out there doing something similar to this. So there's a lot. There's the chance of us growing a mega company is a lot greater, and us helping a lot more people is a lot greater going this route than just being another junk removal franchise like the 15 that are out there. Franchising now, if your question is, should you buy a junk removal franchise? I don't think it is, but we offer, with our business package, we give you the same great support. We assist you on setting your branding up, get you a website, you come on site for on-site training, you get full operations manuals. Everything you get with the JRA business package at a fraction of the cost. A franchise can be advantageous because the nice thing is everybody is you do have common brand, and maybe there's a chance as people move around, they've used this company, they've used luggers or got junk or whoever in another location, they're aware of it. There could be some business you get from that. Franchises generally have got national contracts set up, so you can get business from that. The branding's already done, it's proven, it's worked out, so that is an advantage to that. So there are some advantages to franchising. I think the JRA business package more than makes up for it, because I think we're showing you how to go out there and get everything done. But, the franchise isn't a bad route to go. We've just set up an alternative. What else we got?
I think we're good on questions. Just got a few comments we're talking about.
What kind of comments we got?
Oh, lots of stuff. Hellos, what's up from Junk Mob?
Hey, Junk Mob.
We got Dan Hassan on here. He was making a joke earlier about doing a figure eight in the cul-de-sac with an NPR.
Yeah. So we had a question earlier about when you should turn somebody loose on driving training. Hopefully your employees aren't doing a figure eight in a cul-de-sac. So, guys, appreciate all the comments and questions and everything. If you got anything else, please do so. Any questions at all? We got, another 10 minutes or so here. So where do you find these trucks? If you're on the East Coast especially, tatrucks.com generally is going to have used Isuzu trucks. This is actually, they're building their own bodies here. This is a junk, what happened here? Hold up. Okay. This is actually a TA truck body, and they're building this thing. I think it's $14,000 or $15,000. I believe it's longer. It's definitely shorter. I don't know if that's 4 foot. Dang it. But they've got a cheap body, and I don't know if cheap's necessarily good, but they've got, this is like a got junk alternative body that they're building. This next truck. This is a used got junk truck. So let's check this thing out and let's see how it looks. So if I was going to look at this truck, let me find the inventory. They've just changed their site up, so I got to familiarize myself with it. Isuzu junk hauler dump. They finally started calling it junk haulers. They used to not even say junk hauler. I think they finally realized there's a demand. We need to be setting up. We need to be set up as an affiliate for TA. We send them so much work. Okay, Isuzu 06. So 06 is a good year. 06, 07. 05 are great years because they have the 4HK1 TC engine. They do not have the emissions crap, the DPF filter. So if you're going to buy a diesel, this is a good year to get. They're getting harder and harder to find though because they're getting more and more mileage and they're rusting more and more. All right, so yeah, all right, when they say 12-foot dump, this is a 10-foot body. They're counting this toolbox, which this toolbox isn't even 2 foot wide. This is an 18-inch toolbox. So I don't know why TA doesn't know the exact length of their trucks, but this is a 10-foot body. It is not a 12-foot body. Any of these got junk bodies, you can always recognize got junk bodies by the way the ribs are done. The tarp system, I mean, you can always recognize got junk bodies because the rest of them are going to be flat or they're going to have the verticals. We good? Okay.
Matt on Facebook's actually asking, will they ship them? He's in Hawaii.
Yeah, they'll ship them. They'll ship them. I would not want to pay the bill to ship to Hawaii, though. I really don't know what it would be. I mean, they ship them over from Japan on a freighter. So, I mean, that's what you'd have to do there. I really couldn't even estimate. I know to ship a vehicle to California, it's about $3,500. I have no idea what it would be, what the freight would be from once it gets to California, from California to Hawaii. Okay, so I keep looking through this thing. I'm reading through, swing rear doors, fresh black paint on body. I'm going to tell you this is pretty cheap paint. Only reason they paint it is to cover up the old got junk paint, make it look a little bit better. Okay, so all right, the rest of the description isn't all that good. So now let's go through these pictures. Let's look at this thing. All right, so this picture here, they'll probably have a close-up on the frame. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check this frame out. At first glance, it doesn't appear to be, I mean, it's really not close enough to really tell. Here's one thing you will notice. This plastic tank, this dump motor's been changed, and that's a good thing because that's the newer style. They used to go with a metal tank, so that is good. Let's see if they give us any better pictures. The cab itself is in great shape on this truck. And what I could tell on the tires, those tires look like they have plenty of tread as well. So this actually, so far, so good on this truck. I don't even know how many miles are on it, though. We'll find that out in just a minute. All right. Had a little bit of a damage that's been repaired here. You can tell, you know, they welded in a patch here. There's something went on, probably, I don't know, no telling. You know, they've kind of repaired that a little. Unless that's a run in the paint, it's probably a weld repair. These tarp systems, one of the weak points on these got junk trucks are these tarp systems. US Tarp or Rollright makes replacement tarps that, this is a valuable piece of information because it took us a long time. If you go to a truck body builder, you might be able to get what they like scratch and dent ones that were returned because they didn't quite work at a fraction of the cost. But these springs break, and when these springs break, these daggone things can go flying. They fall off, things rust. It's just a weak system. The bars bend, just a weak tarp system overall. Rollright and US Tarp makes a much better tarp system. Maybe a little bit of damage on this front door here. Doesn't appear to be bad. You know, probably, you know, it's not necessarily bad to have a little bit of damage when you first get it anyway. At least your guys won't be the first person that puts something on it. Got the ladder there. I hate this toolbox design. Some of these got junk trucks had these toolbox designs. There's one that the door actually slides down. I like those better because these boxes you can only access the top of the box. The reason they do it this way is because it interferes with the ladder. Okay. This doesn't, all right, so far so good on this truck. It's the GMC, again guys, just in Isuzu. Lights are in good shape. Yeah, these tires look great. Tires look great. Assuming they're 12 ply. When you go and buy this truck, make sure they're 10 or maybe hopefully 12 ply, but make sure they hadn't put some El Cheapo tires on this thing. Got the ladder on the back. Yeah, that's a good looking truck. All right, let's see if we can find the more critical stuff though instead of these exterior pictures. I am going to point out one thing. I don't know if you guys can tell. This is probably added afterwards. Mud gets blown up even with mud flaps. Mud gets blown up on this gas tank. So they've built in, and we've done this on our trucks. They built in a guard trying to keep mud from getting up on that tank. Otherwise, your guys will open that up and mud will drip down into that fuel. All right, so we look inside. This is always you can always tell a TA truck because they always replace the driver's seat with a leather or with a vinyl seat, just because, or whatever, pleather or whatever that is. These seats always wear out, so you can always tell a TA truck because they're about one of the only ones you ever see that on. So a lot of times on the interior, you can tell if a vehicle's really been taken care of or not. So far, it looks decent.
And Ryan's asking, is that a good price for that truck?
I haven't looked at the price yet. I think it's 26 something. This is what I wanted before I answer that. I wanted to look at the mileage. 168, 831. It's on the it's on the higher end. You're going to start having issues in about at any point. This truck could give you issues at any point with sensors or whatever. Fuel injectors. It could give you problems at any point. Your transmission's going to act up about 240. Your engine's only halfway there, but your other stuff's going to give you issues. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, this truck is in pretty good shape. I'm going to answer your question here in a minute. I need to finish looking. I guess that's all the pictures they got. All right, here's what I hate. They didn't give me any frame pictures up close. That makes me worried. These guys know these trucks can rust. So before I would buy this truck, I would have that guy go out, take good pictures up close of the frame, give me pictures of brake fittings, fuel line fittings. I didn't even see a picture of the engine up close. There wasn't a picture of the engine, was there, Aaron?
Not that I saw.
And that makes me worried. What are they trying to hide? I bought trucks for these guys before. I recommended them to people that have bought. They're okay. I mean, for used truck guys, I guess they're all right. But, I mean, come on, guys. These guys know they need to be posting pictures of this stuff. So you need to get pictures of the engine, get pictures of the frame before you buy that. The question of $23,900, that's not a bad price at that mileage if this thing ate up with rust. Again, I can't tell. This picture is just not close enough. I can't tell, and I'm worried the fact they did not show it, that it is. But I would definitely, if you guys are looking for a used truck, I'd make that call. As soon as this episode's over, I'd get on the phone and call. TA is a good way. These trucks here, I haven't really looked at them too much. This might be a gas truck. Let's see. No, it's diesel. It's diesel as well. So, again, these are the ones that TA builds here. This is the custom TA body. All right, the other place to look, Commercial Truck Trader. We got any questions while I go to see Commercial Truck Trader?
Yeah, we got one from Junk Mob. Junk Mob asks, who is your biggest inspiration? Who's your hero?
I've got several guys that I really pay attention to, I've read about. People have heard me talk about recently. I mean, some of the stuff Grant Cardone's done has been pretty inspirational. It's helped me kind of compartmentalize the business, and it's helped me go out and buy stuff before I really need it and make investments and grow large and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, that's been important. I've read a lot of books on just old business, business magnates, whatever. I don't have really just one individual that I pay attention to. I try and read a lot of business books and learn from what I can find on those books. There's not one thing. It's like get exposed to a lot and learn about those individuals. Warren Buffett, I read and studied Warren. Warren's a great thinker. But I really don't have, when I was growing up, I guess I was around other business owners and entrepreneurs that have been successful. People know I've got a love of aviation. I love flying. That you tend to have money to be able to do that. So I was exposed to people because my dad's a pilot. So I was exposed to people that were in general aviation that had money, and all of them, I kind of drew right off the bat, all of them were business owners for the most part. There's an attorney in there, there was a doctor in there, but most of the guys I was around was business owners because I wasn't one to really hang around attorneys and doctors, especially at that time. So there were some smaller guys, and you guys wouldn't really know about, that kind of got the bug started. And then, like I said, I read and studied a lot of other guys. Got anything else? Any other questions? Okay, so let's look at Commercial Truck Trader here. So what I like doing is I'll just search for a Isuzu dump truck for sale. And then actually I'll go to the Google ad or the Google listing for Isuzu dump truck for commercial truck trader. And if you guys are buying used, then just specify used. I think they've changed this around a little bit, but new or used, change this to used because you're going to get a lot of dealers on here. And then you're just going to look for that junk truck body. And I admit I wanted to take the time to get on here earlier and actually see if I could find one, but I didn't see any. So I mean, these are just standard dump trucks. Like, all right, here, this is a big enough body for this, but I wouldn't settle. Man, look at the never mind, it's not as big. I thought I was looking at a picture of a huge cylinder there, but it's actually just a regular scissor. So, all right, the issues with these regular dump trucks, some of you guys want to get one, there's no toolbox. There's absolutely no tool storage at all in this truck. You can put these ones under the, well, actually, this has got the DPF system and all on it, so you hardly can even get an undercarriage toolbox anymore. There's no room in these cabs, these standard cabs. So you really need these toolboxes built on the front. You're not really going to be able to do that very cost effectively on this. So you need to find a junk truck. And you'll go through, you're just going to need to be constantly looking. You're not going to, these things are not always out there. So you need to always be looking, and when you find what looks to be a good deal, you need to make the purchase. So that's what you just have to check out. The other one is Truck Paper. Truck Paper is a lot weaker, but truckpaper.com is the other site where you can try and find some of these things. If you guys want to purchase new, email lee@JunkRA.com. We have, unfortunately, the price just went up some because of tariffs that have been implemented. The body price just went up some, but we have hooked up with a local bodybuilder here. They also have built bodies in the past for College Hunks until College Hunks switched to Switch and Go, and they do all of our bodies. And we've had a couple of customers buy trucks through them, so we've gotten a pretty daggone good package price together because we're now moving enough of these trucks. If you call, if you email me, we'll get that set up if you guys are looking for a new junk truck. One last note, or two last things. Switch and Go system. Some people want to go with a Switch and Go or a hook lift. I hate the Switch and Go system. I absolutely hate it. It's slow to load. The winch messes up. If the guys aren't careful, they'll get the thing off the tracks. You know, you want to try and make things bulletproof. If you're going to go with a truck body system that you can drop, a hook lift is much more robust. It's not going to break very often, if any at all, and it's just much more intuitive on how to use your guys. It's a lot easier of a system to use. It does way more than the Switch and Go, but again, until you start renting dumpsters, I would not have a replaceable truck body. Just get a standard junk truck body. They last longer, and for what you're doing, they're simpler, less to go wrong, look better, tend to be better, well constructed, the body itself, than those Switch and Go bodies. So I would hold off on Switch and Go or even a hook lift until you build up a big junk truck removal business where you're going in the dumpster business. And when do you replace these things? Unfortunately, I am talking to you more along the lines of what should we have done rather than what we did. So when you're growing a lot, it's hard to replace a vehicle because, like, if you're at 2 trucks and those 2 trucks are full, well, you need a third vehicle. You might have your second truck might be wore out, but you can't replace that second truck because you need a third vehicle. So you either need to buy 2 to scale up, which is hard to do until you get a little bit larger, or you just need to keep fixing that second truck. But here's one thing I'm going to say. When these vehicles start getting into 250,000 miles, start adding another vehicle. Whether you get rid of that one at 250 or not, start adding another vehicle. Or even at 175 or 180,000, start adding another vehicle. And then that way you stay ahead of the curve. Your guys absolutely hate when vehicles are constantly giving issues. It's just, especially when the air conditioning goes out, and if it's kicking into glint mode, home mode, and safe mode, you can't afford the downtime. Stay ahead of this vehicle thing. What that means is you got to have high enough prices that you got the money to be purchasing new vehicles as you need them. Any last questions? Awesome, guys. Well, hey, every Tuesday and Thursday, 12 Eastern Time, we do Making Hay with JRA. I am Lee Godbold. This is Junk Removal Authority. We got video extraordinaire Aaron behind us, and we will be back in just a couple days for the next episode of Making Hay with JRA.